All right, I think we got it. Let's see. All right. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here for this week's training. It should be a pretty good one, I think. I think you guys will get a lot of value out of this, especially if you are running your own ads and especially if you have an agency running your ads. Um, a lot of my knowledge comes from, unfortunately, having bad experiences with agencies. Over-promising and under-delivering, it really forced me into um, taking ownership of my ads across all platforms. And I'm glad to be sharing some of the things I've learned today along the way and how to make your ads actually not suck. So out of curiosity, before we get rocking and rolling here, just so I know what I'm working with, how many of you guys, give me a one in the chat if you're actually using Facebook ads, Facebook, Instagram, any of the social platforms. Give me a one in the chat if you guys are using those. Okay. We'll get going here then. I guess it's for a lot of you that are on the call today. So, why most contractors ads fail. Couple of immediate things out the gate. I would say the majority of ads fail because they are terrible. And I mean it in every respect of the word. Most of them go from, hey, nice to meet you, to let's get married very quickly and obnoxiously. All right. And you've probably encountered some of these ads where there's no context. You don't know or like the brand, but all of a sudden they're in your feed and they're immediately trying to get you to do something like a free estimate, um, or we see those posts that get boosted. And if you look really carefully on them, most of the time they have a ton of comments that haven't been answered, no follow-up, no nothing to really make those ads effective. What we see a lot with Facebook ads is if they're not properly set up and properly pixeled, what ends up happening is you can get some really terrible leads. And I just want to quickly explain to you why that may be happening. It's the algorithm itself. So when we don't have good content, we don't have a good message, or a strong position, or a recognizable offer, or we've been a ghost on those social media platforms. The algorithm doesn't know who your client is, the AI that's behind it. All right. So it's going to naturally go for the cheapest lead that it can find. Okay. And when I say cheap, this could be somebody that just loves to click on stuff and never buys. Okay. It's going to get you those kind of conversions. And if we don't correct it, it's going to continue to find those kind of conversions. So a lot of people that have ran their own ads, and I see it with agencies as well, they often tell me that, hey, we got 50 leads, but we could only get a hold of 10. All right. During as you're getting going, that's not unusual, but that's definitely something that you want to address. So let's get into this. And I feel it's only appropriate that we start off by, hold on one sec, let me just put everybody on mute here. I hear some sirens going on. Here, one second. All right. So what we need to do, first of all, for anybody that is going to run ads, is understand that even in the Facebook platform, we have to create a funnel, okay? And at every funnel, our first objective, or it should be our first objective, is to create awareness, okay? So again, why do most ads systems fail? Because they skip the awareness stage, all right? These are people that may be slightly interested, all right. And we have to build value and trust with them in order to move them down our funnel. Okay. So most relationships, like I was saying, don't start off with, hey, nice to meet you. Let's get married. There is some courtship. There's some back and forth that we want to show to our clients. Now, more so than ever, is a great opportunity to use what we call short form content, small, short videos that offer value, aren't salesy, aren't, marketing that a client would actually need. So think about what your clients struggle with, create some short form video, and this can be your whole top of funnel. Okay. Great for building, high quality lead funnels. And we encourage all our members, anybody that we work with, to start at this point before we jump directly into generating ads, right? This is going to do a couple things for you right off the bat. I like to call it the everlasting ad. Is that ultimately, if people were never interested in our product or in our services, all right, we really shouldn't be putting ads in front of them. Okay. The way that we can find out if somebody is interested, all right, is to offer them something that is better than, hey, you want to buy my stuff. Okay. And there's a million ways that we can do that, but the best and easiest, fastest way, short form videos these days that answer a question for your customer they may be thinking of. All right. Obviously, if they're clicking and watching through a video of yours, all right, then they have some sort of interest in what it is that you do. Okay. You can also use this to build a lot of trust. Okay. Before we start to target them with ads. Right. So now we can start talking a little bit about ads, but again, where we want to be considerate, all right, is actually adding what we call middle of the funnel to your Facebook ads. Okay. And this can be, again, an engagement campaign. So we could use content such as customer testimonials and reviews, social proof, who we are, right? Maybe behind the scenes in your company. So we're going to get a little bit more in depth of who we are. And again, we've all seen these kind of funnels in becoming aware of the product that you're working with. And generally speaking, people that are on social media they behave slightly different than they would on, let's say, Google. For that reason is that most people are in research mode or are scrolling through, right? So our job there is to just capture enough of their attention, all right, build some trust, all right, but we're not even yet going to directly, ask for business or ask for them to take a next commitment phase. We then can use targeting to convert them. All right. So in the third step, bottom of the funnel is where we want to actually create conversion. Okay. Now, what I see 99% of the time is we skip one and two and we go right for three. So when that happens, your ads will generally perform poorly in most cases, even with good creative and good copy. They don't perform up against ones that have maybe a weaker copy and weaker creative, but have a lot more um, trust built and awareness built in the market. So um, anybody that has a social media account for their business that is regularly posting, they will naturally see a lot cheaper ads. So that's the first place you want to start before you start spending money. Start building your actual social media organic content, and you're going to see your ads performing a hell of a lot better. Okay. So awareness stage, again, top of funnel, focus on emotion, curiosity, homeowner pain, right? We're not here to sell. Okay, that's the most important thing. You're not there to sell. You're there to inform. You're there to build trust. All right, but we don't need to sell. Okay, when we're talking about what works, I'm a big fan of hook story offer. All right, and if we're looking at building top of funnel awareness, this can be a short hook. All right. The hook is the first 3 to 5 seconds of your ad or your content. All right. And we all get sucked into these things. It's what allows us to keep doom scrolling, I guess. But a hook is meant to draw in your ideal customer or somebody that'd be interested in your services. So, for example, 3 signs your roof is about to fail. All right. Before you hire a contractor, watch this. Okay, those are really strong hooks that we can mix with content, short videos. All right. People aren't watching 2 and 3 minute videos. They're watching and consuming 30, 40 seconds max. Okay. So in the top of funnel, real ads that are started conversations. Okay. So in the top of the funnel, it's about attention, but not technically selling. Okay. So we can also use um, case studies, right? So you're going to show off a project, right? We're going to, start to build trust and social proof that we're actually able to perform what they're looking for. Okay. In the middle of the funnel, the trust building zone. All right. People saw you. Now we prove you're real. Okay. We use testimonials, walkthroughs, time lapse, or behind the scene videos. Again, most people that are buying off social media platforms are checking out your pages. A lot of times they're following you for longer than you would believe. Okay, and the more that we have that top and middle built out, the better and better our ads are going to perform. Okay. And the better your prospect's going to be. And that's probably the most important thing is that they're already being warmed up. Okay. So the problem traditionally with ads is that you're dealing with a very cold lead. Okay. Especially if you haven't gone through any of these steps. So most guys that come to us express how they are living off of word of mouth. Okay. Well, if we think of word of mouth and referrals, that's what we call a warm lead. Okay. A cold lead is an outbound lead where someone's clicked on a form, scrolling through social media, and 10 minutes later they forget who you are, and then we chase them around the internet for an extended period of time. A lot of guys get really frustrated with these kind of leads, and really the reality of it is they haven't been set up for success from the very beginning. So again, when you're doing this, if you're doing it yourself, the big thing is just be consistent. All right. Be consistent with your content, be consistent with your posts. We don't have to do, highly creative um, influence content. We just have to be there. We have to be present. We have to be sharing the story. Now, if there's anything I could share with you that's helped me personally a lot, is you always want to try and tell the story of your customer's pain. Okay. A lot of times we get caught up in what we call brand marketing. All right. So brand is like Coca-Cola marketing, where it's look at me, look at me. All right. Where we're sticking our logos and our, accomplishments in front of a customer. And I got to be the first to say, no one cares. They really just don't care for that kind of content. Now, if we can take that same kind of, thing that we're proud of, and then be able to tell our customer story and make them the hero in that story, now that content's really going to, have some traction, right? So how have you helped somebody? How were they able to overcome a problem that you were able to solve? Just really think about your storytelling process. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it is something that you want to align your brand with, right? So that we're actually getting people who are converting and that know, like, and trust us. Okay. So, how many of you guys on here, maybe give me a chat. Let me know if you guys are alive in here. How many of you guys have used testimonial ads before? Or you've just shared maybe a video testimonial or a Google review? Anybody here? Okay. I personally prefer them. We'll run them again, middle of the funnel. They're not being showed to everybody, but really, really powerful. All right. Anything that your brand is saying, all right, at least in the early stages, is questionable. All right. Um, we're in the post-trust era, right? No one really trusts anybody, especially advertising. All right. Keep that in mind. So if people are seeing other people talking about your brand, all right, and they can see with their own eyes that, you do the kind of quality that they're looking for, that becomes more of a fact, all right, and it helps a lot in the type of conversions that we're making. Okay, so super powerful. Now as we get to the bottom of the funnel, all right, this is really where the ad is it should exist. Okay. And our ads got to do a couple things. I can't tell you how many times that I see contractor ads where they fail to do really anything. They're just asking, hey, do you want a quote? Okay. Now, like, let's put this in the context of we're all in a shopping mall and trying to get attention of people passing by a store that we're at. Okay. Is it is it in your best interest just to kind of hide behind the clothes rack and whisper at people? Hey, come in my store, right? No. Or do we get in front of them, right? Do we move ourselves into position? Do we create some urgency? Do we make sure that our offers are clear, right? One of the best ways to do that, again, think about the offer you're making. Okay. It's not good enough on these platforms to be offering the same stuff everybody else is offering. Okay, you'll just blend in, look like everybody else, and you'll get no business. Okay. And the business you will get will attract a lot of people that are just price shopping. Again, really low quality leads. All right. But if we add a little bit of urgency or scarcity to that, and we have a very clear defined offer, right? That's a specific problem you solve for a specific person, a specific way, by the way. All right. And again, you can use this in context, when we're saying that we install metal roofs, okay? We can add some urgency behind that. Winter's coming. All right. We have 5 spots left. All right. We'll use your home as a showcase. All right. Before Friday, save 10%. Okay. Just by adding that, again, you're going to get a little bit more attention, but also anybody that's been watching you for a while is going to start to really consider that conversion. Okay. So your paid ads are only half the game. And again, I want to make sure that I'm driving this point home. Anybody that I've worked with that's put any consistent effort into their organic content, all right, they get a couple of benefits. Number one, their ads, okay, outperform paid ads with no content by about 10 to 1. Okay. So I can clearly see why most contractors try Facebook ads, don't get the results they want and quit. All right. I totally get it. All right. Who wants to make all this content? Who wants to do, videos and stuff like that? But we got to think a little bit more outside the box. More and more people are making decisions through social media, not being present there as a brand, as a name. All right. Not having, things that people can validate for you. You're leaving a world of opportunity on the table. And, you know, really, if you looked at even some of um, your referral leads, some of those, some of the ads that maybe you're bringing in from other sources. Um, I can tell you with absolute certainty that the quality of my Facebook ads far trumps any of the other places, and it's because it's a community-based platform. Okay. So if you can tap into that community base and you can actually generate organic leads, which is free leads, by the way, for everybody's information, all right, you're going to build not even you're going to have a lot of success with your paid ads, all right? You're going to spend less, but you're also going to attract that customer that you're looking for. The customer that's, investing time in looking through your content, understanding what company they're trying to deal with. Those tend to be the customers that are already sold. They're lay down sales. Okay? Who enjoys those, right? Those easy customers have already made a decision to buy from you before you even showed up. Okay. That's what content can do for you, is that they've consumed enough of your content that there is nobody else they trust more than you to do that project. Okay. So think about that opportunity. I'm in the metal roofing business. And one thing that we had to really come to grips with is unlike shingle roofs, okay, people can, generally pick out a roofer. They all kind of look the same. But when it comes to a metal roof, they tend to take a lot more time because of the investment involved, and they do a lot more research on them. There's a lot more unknown variables with them. So people are, really looking to be informed and educated. We try to bring that to them as well. All right. We try to tell some stories. Okay. But we're not overdoing it either. I mean, we spend less than 4 hours a month on organic content. I could probably do more and get even better results, but just being there in general, you're already going to be well ahead of any of your competitors. And if you can do it at any quality level, you'll really start to see some huge benefits. Um, just to give you some more context there, I have plenty of clients that are, high 7-figure businesses that rely entirely on organic content. Okay. So keep that in mind. That's an option for anybody that's, looking for an alternative to their ads and paying. Okay. Now I find that the best possible solution is putting those two together with SEO, all right, and where you're across all the platforms, that really gives you the echo effect, where no matter where you go on the internet, you're popping up there. So that's really, again, when you're looking to really grow and scale the business quickly. All right. So authentic beats polished every time. Okay. So for you guys out there that are concerned about having fancy camera gear and a fancy, maybe a videographer and are holding back creating content or creating videos, all right, you'll be happy to hear that the majority of or viral content that goes out there, especially in this space, is made off of cell phone. Okay. It's made off of, again, not polished ads. They're not having them produced. They're not editing them a high amount. All right. They're just having really good hook. All right. And they're creating content that people actually want and need. All right. The more that you polish these, okay, the more unauthentic they come across. Has anybody had that experience in social media? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying here? Right? When you see a highly polished, almost TV commercial like ad in front of your face, all right? Do you align with that brand or do you align more with the person that's, re using content is, clearly, sharing value, all right? Helping to educate. What kind of content do you want to buy from? Okay. And people typically want to buy from people still. So keep that in mind. When you put your face out there, you share that builds a lot of trust and authenticity. Okay. So next, we want to get into the proper setup. By the way, guys, if you're interested, we have, as always, we have full SOPs for setting up your Facebook account technically. Again, if you guys are interested in doing it and you want to get that support, just reach out to us. We'll hook you up. If you're running your own ads, again, we'll give you as much of the step-by-step that we use for running your own ads. It does get somewhat complicated and it is a time-consuming thing if you're doing it properly. So I'll pre-warn you about that. Just setting up an ads campaign can take you, depending on where you're at in your skill sets, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours. After you get content and everything else done, setting up all the other things, the technical things, not really a good use of your time these days. But if you are interested in something that you can see yourself maintaining, all right, reach out to us. We'll help you out there. So the business manager setup, Facebook Pixel, which is and conversion API and domain verified and forms tracked. Okay. So the other thing we can do, all right, ultimately, and how many maybe have had this experience? You say something around your phone that you're interested in, and then all of a sudden, ads start popping up for that thing. Isn't that interesting? Anybody believe that your phone is listening to you? No? Always, yes. Okay. So how that is actually happening, all right, is it's not actually what you're saying around it, although I still firmly believe that the phone is listening. I'm sure they'll prove it at one point or another, but it's actually your behavior and your data points. Okay. So if you have a Facebook account or you have an Instagram account, there's nothing less than 5,000 data points about you. So everything you click on, everything that you show interest in, all right, the algorithm's trying to keep you on that platform. Okay. So again, when we think of how to stay in front of a client or how to stay in front of somebody, we can get pretty creative. If we just got away from thinking that everybody's just converting immediately when they see our beautiful brand, all right, because that's the way people make decisions, all right, and move more towards providing convenience to them at the time they need it and keeping in front of them consistently, we're going to see a lot better performance, especially as time goes on and you make those investments, right? So again, staying in front of them can be book a call, view an ad, visit a website, see a proof ad. There's a lot of things that we can do as well beyond just getting a quote. All right. And I have to encourage everybody to consider that. If you are creating your own ads, like be creative. All right. Offer a lead magnet for anybody that doesn't know what a lead magnet is. That's actually a bribe. All right. Maybe you guys have downloaded our lead magnets. Hopefully you have. That might be why you're here. Okay. But it's a little piece of value in exchange for contact information. Okay. Now we can actually use CRMs to warm that prospect up to get them, away from being a marketing qualified lead into a sales qualified lead. Now, one thing that everybody should be aware of is that on Facebook and on these platforms, you have to remember that when ads are popping up and you're seeing them, most people are we're we're kind of disturbing them, right? They didn't intentionally go there to click on your ad, right? It kind of came up. All right. What most people forget is that that buyer's journey, okay, in a lot of cases can be very, very cold. All right. So, when we're trying to build awareness, build all these things, if you're not willing to kind of put in that time and you're not willing to try things that are going to build more of that value with that customer, you're going to be leaving your best clients, kind of out in the cold, right? They're going to see your ad once and forget about you. Now, if we use the lead magnet, maybe you have a buyer's guide, maybe you have, something that would be useful in them making a decision. I would suggest you use that. Okay, especially at the top of your funnel, right? Giving somebody something of value in exchange for their contacts allows you now a different form of actually getting in touch with them. Okay, so now what do we do with those contacts that we've acquired, right? So let's say we're top of funnel, okay? We can retarget them with our ads, right? But they haven't gone through a conversion yet, but we've got their contact information for exchange in that lead magnet. Well, the beauty of it is we can now use our CRM and automations to continue to give them value until they're ready to convert. All right. Um, there's a really good statistic that everybody should be knowing is at any given time, right? There's only 3% of people that are actively looking to buy. Okay. So, and this is across the board in every market. All right. So 3%, think about it. Everybody that's just running straight ads is competing for 3% of the market that is actively looking to buy that product or service. Okay. Now, below that, we have a whole other, group of people that are maybe problem aware that, hey, they need a new roof, right? They need a new kitchen. They've been thinking about it. All right. But are not necessarily solution aware or they're in research mode. Okay. The purpose there, okay, is to get them, committed and moving up without expecting, them to convert on that 3%. All right. So much, much cheaper to market to that 20, 25% that are close to, getting a quote or close to having the renovation done and collect those contacts. Okay. Because now you can contact them directly. All right. We can also, again, have them there and we can see some behavior that we can't see on the platforms. We actually have real names and contacts that we can call. Okay. Now, and anybody that's been around for a while knows that I am a big, big fan of speed to lead. Okay. So now you've got the contact. All right. Maybe they did go through your conversion campaign and they asked for a quote. Okay. Statistics are showing that we have about 5 minutes before they pretty much forget who we are. All right. If you're not moving quickly enough to get onto your leads, and this is where CRMs and AI and everything else can come in and help you, reaching out to that client to at least let them know that you've got their request. All right. So that they don't just get hammered by everybody else targeting them with ads and forget you in the first place. Okay. So just think about this scenario. The second you click on that ad or your ad, all right, they're immediately getting pixeled with other similar ads. All right. So if they didn't get a response from you, even just a simple automated message that you got that, you got their request, how likely do you think it is that they're just going to click on the other ads on your other competitors? All right. Maybe the other competitor is able to reach out to them even quicker, get out to site and manage their problem. Okay. I would say that more contractors fall for the mistake of assuming that it's price, it's their proposal, it's the economy, it's all these other excuses. I will tell you first and foremost, the thing that we focus on the most is getting out there first. Getting in contact with our clients first, adding the most value. Okay, because the second they've made that step, all right, we're on it. All right. We're religious about it. And a lot of times, it's kind of funny. By the time we're starting the roof, there's still contractors showing up to give them a quote. Okay. 77% of clients and homeowners choose to go with the contractor who responds first. Okay. Nothing more, nothing less. So just think about that for a second. If you're the fastest to respond, and when I'm saying respond, I don't mean just, casually giving them a call and leaving them a voicemail. I mean, again, realistically getting out, getting their quote done, doing the work, the faster one that is there to answer that question, all right, and puts themselves in the trusted consultant position is generally who's going to get the job. Okay, 77% of the time. Okay, so let's talk about some simple fixes for big results. All right. Simple fix. All right. You want your ads to do better. And remember, you can do short form ads. This is how the best format that we have. All right. A short 15-second video hook. All right. Do the work, figure out what your customers' pains are, align that first 3 to 5 seconds with what that is. All right. And you will see a huge jump and improvement in your ads, period. In your copy, that's the ads that you're running. Okay. Make sure you add captions to every video. Why do we add captions? For two reasons, is most people read the captions and they don't have the sound on their phone. Second, you are the Facebook platform is a SEO driven platform. Most people are unaware of that. Okay. Meaning that they are using words and keywords, all right, to find people that have searched those similar keywords. And that can be across multiple platforms. Okay. So make sure that we're getting the text in there and it's in the video as well. Okay. Do post organic content twice a week. All right. Guys, I have clients that just last week that have never ever shot a video, shy behind the camera. All right. Never gonna do it. Right. Shoot 35 videos in about 4 hours. Okay, 35 that's a lot of content. That's a lot of videos. All right. It's not that scary. It's not that difficult. Especially again, if you're working with us, we'll write your content, help you shoot all that stuff. It's a shameless plug there for you. And we'll also run your ads for you, of course. But again, when we're thinking about, the value that we can bring, nothing's going to help your business more for free than short form content at the moment. Okay. Retarget every 30 days. So again, in your campaigns, you need to be retargeting that audience that's viewed your content. All right. So those videos that only got 200 views, 300 views, what you don't understand is that that's a specific type of person that there's tens of thousands of, okay? But their behavior is going to get matched to other people who've never seen your content before. So when the AI in Facebook is looking for other similar customers, all right, they're going to use that data. They're going to use, similarities between that person. Okay. So the more that you're getting people locked in on your organic, all right, it allows us to then create a broader and wider audience for your paid ads. Okay. Last thing, follow up within 5 minutes. Again, if you don't have a CRM, please guys get one. It'll be pretty hard to compete shortly without it. And especially if you're doing these kind of Facebook ads. I can't tell you how many times people have done all of the steps of setting this stuff up just only to let it slip through their hands because they can't respond quickly enough. And nowadays, there's really just no excuse for it. Okay. So, what I hope that everybody's taking away from this conversation today, and it may be unlike some of the other ones that you've maybe seen out there in terms of setting up your ads, all right, is that leads are built in layers. It's not luck. Okay. So the guys that are really crushing it out there, the guys that are really making big money, again, have predictable pipelines, have, sustained sales teams. They get this. Okay. They understand how to build a good marketing strategy through ads, and they also know how to keep their costs low enough to remain highly competitive, right? So top of funnel awareness, middle of funnel trust, bottom of the funnel action, all right? Organic keeps you relevant, retargeting closes the loop. All right? Pretty simple when we try to put it in layers. A lot more difficult when we're trying to guess whether it was our creatives, if it was a video, or if I should do this. You can literally drive yourself mad. Please, guys, do not, and I'll give you this hint too, for those guys that um are playing with their Facebook ads technically, changing the targeting and all this. It's very obvious to anyone that's running ads at a higher level that none of that stuff matters anymore. Okay. In 2012, you could pick out somebody specifically for characteristics. Okay. So meaning I could directly target somebody that was had searched roofing, was interested in roofing, and they would just get pounded with my ads. All right. That doesn't happen anymore. All right. The targeting is not even worth actually targeting on your ads, especially when you're starting out. Don't even put anything in there. The AI will find your client. Make sure that you have good copy, that your message is direct, your offer is direct, because all the other stuff, we're seeing it more and more. It's just not working. All right. So again, there is some more technical things to that, but if you're just starting out, um, run your ads without the targeting to create your top of funnel first. All right. If you get a good base or a good audience and you've got people that have watched your videos, now we can start to retarget and add some more layers into it to get even more specific. All right. So that was a lot of information. I don't normally go on those long of a rants, but it's just such a easy topic to discuss. Um, I'm wondering who here's like ready to build an ads that actually work. Like, how many of you guys are actually interested? Give me a one in the chat if you guys are actually interested, or if you're just here for more information. Just information, it looks like. All right. Oh, good. We got some. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So, what I'll say, we have a Contractors AI funnel blueprint, literally step by step. If you are brave enough to set these things up on your own, love to help you out. No obligation or commitment there. If you would like us to help you out with your marketing plan, building your CRM, stuff like that, of course, that's what we do. No harm or no pressure or anything. I'm gonna throw my link in the chat. Book a call with us, see what we can do, and see if it's possibly a fit. All right. Any questions, guys? This would be the best time and place to ask anything technical. If you're struggling, if you have a campaign that isn't up and going, I'm happy to spend what time I have left with you and help you through that problem if any of you guys would like. You can also throw your stuff in the chat here. All right. What do you recommend for budget? That's not a bad question. So, um, budget is an important thing to discuss. All right. So before we talk about how much we're going to put on our budget, all right, we need to talk about, what an average ticket size is for you and your business. All right. So, um, let me maybe give you an example. You could spend $50 to get, three garbage leads, all right? Or you could spend $100, all right? Do some of these things and get one really good lead. Okay, what would you prefer? Who would prefer the latter? Okay. So then how do we determine our budget is more relevant when we know what the cost is to acquire a customer overall, right? We call this CAC. Okay. So even moving beyond ads, your goal, your mission as a contractor, right, is to have a very, very stable, consistent cost to acquire a customer. All right. Best way I can explain this is I know in my ads, bar none and across the board in the CRM, for every, dollar that goes out, I'm being returned three back, right? So it's basically a 4-to-1 return. All right. So if we think about, where we grow a business from, well, it's quite simple, right? If we are able to acquire a customer, and for me and my business, my average ticket size this year is 44,660. Okay. And it cost me after all my leads. All right. So, the lead cost, everything else, we're averaging about $1,200 to acquire you know, that sale. Okay. When I add it up and divide it. That's more of an important number to understand and to look at. Because again, if I told you and everybody knew that every time they put the dollar in the top, you know, 30 days later they would get three in return or four in return or 10 in return, how many times would you do it? and probably do it indefinitely, right? And that is exactly the way we want to look at marketing. Marketing is a investment. Okay. Good marketing is an unfair advantage. Okay. But the guys that are most successful with it are the guys that come to me and say, "Hey, I imagine myself and I want to get desperately to spending $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month." Okay. You can only do that and stomach that if you've built out some of these processes so you're maximizing your conversions and you have a solid understanding of how much it's going to cost you to get a client, to make a sale, right? And what that sale means to your business profit wise. That's a much better way to determine your budget, because we all want to spend, again, I would, if I could spend $100,000 a month, I would. All right. But there comes a place where you have a diminishing return and you can't. Does this make sense? Did I answer your question, sort of? Keep having to show this thing off. Cool. Right. Anybody have any questions? They feel like they can unmute. You can just unmute yourself if you want to ask a question or throw it in the chat here and we'll go through it. Okay. Also, how
Hey
many?
Jay,
Hey.
yeah, I was wondering if you have any data on like tracking how long it takes for some of this stuff to take like get traction. So I know direct ads are I
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
it's like SEO, right? SEO is one of these
No,
like
no, it's
snake
not.
oil things
No,
and you
no,
don't know when it's
it's
gonna work. No?
so no. So this when you're running ads, it's nothing like SEO. So ads
Mhm.
is what we call direct response marketing. Okay. So when we're doing direct response is we have a exact measurable um result. So like every time a lead gets generated, it costs you $50.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It
no,
costs you $40.
that I get because we work
Right.
with you and I could see that. I more mean like on social media and the like the content and the short
Yeah.
videos. That's more what I'm talking about.
So that's the probably the $1 trillion question.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to a couple of factors. Number one, the demand in your market and the interest in your content, right? That does fundamentally play into it. So if your content is good and it's well structured and simple and easy to consume, your results are going to be immediate. All right. So again,
Mhm.
I know your counter personally, right? So I know that your
Mhm, mhm,
content is the only reason our ads perform so well, like bar none, broke all
mhm.
the, when I show that, people don't even believe me, right? But
Yeah.
it was because imagine this, you have a built up audience of people that already know, like, and trust you. All right.
Mhm.
And now you're putting that ad in front of them. So, it's the obvious choice. Right. So again, there's a lot of interest and the algorithm already knows who your client is. You don't have to spend a ton of money and time figuring out who your customer is because you have already these people that are targeted. So maybe we'll reverse the question. Lila, how long did it take you to build your content?
Yeah.
Right.
8, 9 years. How about
Okay.
that?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but here's the other side of the coin for guys that are considering it.
Yeah.
Compared to what, right? So like where else do you have an opportunity to speak to a community about your business for free? Tell me where. Where
Yeah,
else
for
where else have
sure.
we got that,
Yeah.
right? So the repercussions of not doing is like seeing gold sitting on the sidewalk and not picking it up, right? So again,
Yeah.
I would suggest that everybody, I don't care. Like, again, if we're looking at the thing that makes $1,000 an hour, all right, or more, 10,000 bucks an hour, it's exactly what we're talking about. Building out content that people relate to more and more and more. Again, it's doubling, tripling, quadrupling. People are making their decisions, or at least they're influenced by the content that they're scrolling through, right? So if you're there even a little bit of the time, all right, it's just going to make everything move faster. So if I'm answering this question directly, 25 pieces of content, and that's what we would, start out with. Just the simple top of funnel, 25 to 30 pieces can be done in 4 hours. All right. Out of that 30 pieces of content, you're going to get at least 2 to 3,000 views. Okay. Now, if we
Mm-hmm.
were advertising on Google right now, you would pay nothing less than $1.76 for those views.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
is 4 hours worth $3,000, $4,000?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've
Right.
been doing this for years, thinking
Yeah.
I have an audience of a million, like I'm Taylor Swift or something.
Right.
But
Right.
that's my delusion, and that's whatever it works. But no, it's the whole. That's why the whole marketing thing is. You hear of like do blogs, do SEO, which I am,
Yeah.
do newsletters, which I am, do Facebook, do TikTok, do Pinterest, which I am doing all that. So it's
Yep.
like I don't know, I'm throwing it all out and trying but like yeah, what does land and I still am actively always asking clients, where did you hear about us? Where did you hear
Right.
about us? Like what is working? And so I do get the like from time to time, like, yeah, Instagram. Now that because we do actual home shows where we're in front of a ton of people,
Hmm.
it was this past home show that actually was like I probably had like five people like, oh yeah, I've heard of your company. Oh yeah, I've heard of your
Right.
company. So that's
So
crazy. That's pretty
yeah.
crazy.
So but again, like if we're taking it from all perspectives, right? So Lila, you have an established audience and stuff, but
Mhm.
even beyond that, like now that you ran ads, think about the reach that you got, right? It takes an
Yeah.
average of 9 times before someone
Yeah.
will recognize you as a brand. Okay, nine
Yeah.
times. So again, this is why I tell guys if you're doing any marketing brand, like we're gonna hire and recruit in there. We're like, because it's all the same, right? So it's actually cheaper to run hiring and recruiting ads ahead of your marketing ads. That's sort of a little trick that I've been doing for years. All right, because they're cheaper. I can put, hiring and recruiting, which essentially they're seeing my brand. I'm putting it out into the community saying, hey, we're a growing company and we're looking for awesome people to work for awesome customers. Okay. Does no damage to the brand. People see that. And again, that's sort of another way. And it keeps us consistently in front of our clients. So that's more, again, if you want my advice, it's learn how to do it consistently, right? Learn how
Yeah.
to spend 4 hours a month, have a system and a routine that goes with that. I hate making content. I'll be the first to tell you. I absolutely hate it. All right.
Mhm.
It's just not my cup of tea. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to do any of that noise. But and in the same token, I completely cannot see an ROI that's higher than what I just described to you. Like
Yeah.
I do all those things too, and home shows, and I've got data for years and years on these things.
Yeah.
At the moment, and these things do change. There's nothing there's nothing that's getting a better return for me and for customers of all sizes. So yeah, it's again, you got to pick and choose where you put your time, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean for me I enjoy it, so it's
Right.
one of those things, but I get it. It is work, but
Hmm.
yeah, I do enjoy it and it is a fun thing that's part of the business that I like showcasing things in the background or showing things about the team or behind the scenes and
Right.
it's funny enough I'll get people that are like friends and family that see it. They're like, "Oh, it's like I love even seeing you like pick up your daughter and just do regular stuff. Like people
Right.
just want to see you're an actual person
That
and that
because
you
people
do
buy from people. They
normal.
don't they don't
Yeah.
buy from businesses, right? So like
Yeah.
especially in social media and you're an amazing example of that to drive it home, right? Because how many times have you gone to a brand that you like and started a conversation with them on their platform? Actually, it's probably going to lose at this question, but you probably have done it, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wrong person to ask.
I do all that
All
all the
right.
time. But
Well,
again, it's like I also do stuff like where you're saying it's free, right? And that's the big
yep,
thing is like I'll jump off other local companies. Like I always get my coffee from this place called Peach Coffee. And
yep.
they have like five stores and they always repost my thing. Always.
Hmm.
And for me too, it's like that's just free marketing now for me too
Totally.
with the whole
Totally.
community. So why not? Like you got to get smart with it, right?
Right. Well, and then when you do add ads to it, that's the part that I guess most people misunderstand is like just because you're getting 200, 300 views, that's actually a lot for content for contractors, right? Like because
Hmm.
you have to be interested in whatever they're discussing, and like keeping people's attention to, your job site. Like, no one really cares, right? Like if they don't care, they don't care. So they
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
scroll through that, and we get a lot less views. But that's not really where the power comes from. But if you've been getting two, three, four, five, 600 views, all right, on those things, what it's doing is it's
Hmm.
training that AI now to go find more people like the people that clicked on
Hmm.
and watched through your video. And now we can be in front of them as often as we want. And it is an unfair advantage when you do it right. It's an absolute losing game if you don't, right? So the guys that just
Hmm.
go straight to the ads, don't put any time into branding. We all see them, like the AI generic ads. Like, I mean, I've seen some really terrible ones out there that would be like, I would never buy from this company. I mean, they couldn't even give me their product, right?
Yeah, I've seen those.
They're
Yeah, and I'm
cringy,
like
right?
turned off. Yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
turned off, and I'm always like, oh no, I really hope I'm not like that. Like
right.
or some are like super aggressive and like
Hmm.
I don't know. Just I'm like, who like attracts to this? Just like super aggressive contractors, just like loud and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just not.
Right. Well, and again, we see this, repeatedly is that when you show up to the door, all right, and you've had these touch points with somebody, okay, they already trust you. They already have maybe a layer of trust that the other guy doesn't have. All right. And
Hmm.
listen,
Hmm.
when when everybody looks the same, sounds the same, all right, people choose on price. If you've taken the effort and you've put yourself in that trusted consultant space, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you're demonstrating your value, all right, and it doesn't have to be polished, it doesn't have to be pretty. Like again, you're demonstrating the value that you know what you're talking about, you're trustable, you're running a business like at that basic level, all right. Tell me which customer is like, tell me you're going to be competing on price every time. Not a chance.
No, no,
Right.
you're not.
So like if that happens once a month where you're not competing on price and you win the job just because they have 5% more trust in you than the other guy, all right, what's that mean to your business over time?
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
puts you as a market leader. Like you're literally give it 5 to 6 years and you're dominant. There's nobody competing with you.
Yeah, and like I had a young guy like message me on Instagram. He's like, I've been doing this a year. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard. Everyone's like competing on price. I'm like, exactly. You're gonna
Right.
compete on price. And he's like, it looks like it's only like these established companies that are like working. I'm like, well, yeah, but I've been doing this over 10 years. It's
Right.
like, if you talked to me year one, I'd be in a whole different spot. Like if
Right.
you can hack it out for 10 years, you'll join us. But like it's not easy.
No, it's not. And again, even for, guys that have been around a long time, I've been doing it 24 years, right? There is
Yeah.
companies that bar none beat the hell out of me on social media. And I mean, their businesses there are entirely organically, and we're talking again, they're bigger in size, they're bigger, and they started, some of them worked for me back in the day. All right.
Mm,
And they've built their entire business off of organic, you know, Instagram content, right?
interesting.
Because they're again, you can do it okay, you can do it really well, or you can take it to a whole new level. But nobody's perfect when they come out the gate, right? Done is better than
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about your first videos. I'm sure if you went back to your first ones, you'd be like, oh God,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
the idea here is that you just get consistent in posting, right? And again, it's good
Yeah.
for all areas of the business, and there is no other place you can go where it's free, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
that's the thing, right? No matter your size, no matter where you're at, I mean, you'll never really see a true negative ROI from free,
mm,
right? And
yeah.
again, being exposed. So yeah, these are
That's
great
it.
questions. Were there any other questions before we wrap this up, guys? Oh, how many ads and our different creatives have you seen to be the best? Ah, that's a good one. All right. So how many ads and or different creatives have you seen to be the best? Okay. So number one, this is tends to be something that trends back and forth. At the moment, right now, the best performing ads that I'm seeing, all right, for contractors and in my own single business, all right, is short, 30-second to 40-second ads. And they're video ads. They're not pretty, all right? They're sloppy. They show you the person. Again, a lot of them are sh being shot off cell phones, but I have, again, well, I can give you some real numbers here. I've spent, oh, easily $140,000 on Facebook ads and Instagram ads that's, generated us, oh, easy over 10, right? So again, none of them were were heavily polished. We did use a videographer for them, but like intentionally, they were real, right? So again, it's really the short form stuff, the relatable stuff, the stuff that makes you look human that's performing the best. On the other end of that, static ads, again, you still people can get by with those. Um, the data back, if you guys are considering AI ads, I would still steer a little bit clear of those. A couple of drawbacks, and anybody that's writing content with ChatGPT or any of those platforms, do me a favor, make sure you humanize your content and remove the watermarks from ChatGPT. Okay. If you don't know, I'm going to inform you and enlighten you guys a little bit. If you post directly from ChatGPT ads into Facebook or any algorithm, Google anything, okay, and leave those watermarks on, immediately your content gets shadow banned. All right. Now, you know, people argue with me about this, but it's a matter of fact. You're supposed to disclose if your content's AI or not. All right. They have checkers for it. All right. All the algorithms do. All right. And it's okay to use AI. They encourage you to do it, but you have to declare it. Or the other way is to humanize your content. Make sure that you're not just using ChatGPT and posting directly into your ads and stuff. They will not do well. Same thing with if you're planning to use AI video. All right. It's sort of been hit or miss. It's getting pretty crazy with the AI video. I'm not going to lie. We're doing a lot of our onboarding videos and stuff like that with them now. It's just like mind-boggling. But when you're using AI video, from what I've seen in all the tests that we've ran, they're not nearly as competitive as an organic looking, authentic local area ad, right? People are still choosing, the person that they can relate to, right? We're still in the people business as far as I can see. So again, pop yourself on camera quickly, have a good hook, keep it short. Those will be your best performing ads in my opinion. Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate you
Yeah.
spending some
Uh,
time. Yep. Go ahead.
yeah. Hey, Jay, just got a quick question.
Sure.
As far as I've never done any advertising, social media, or otherwise, but is there a step-by-step way to do that within
100%.
the classroom we have? Okay, great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, no.
Okay,
So we have workbooks, all of it. Your first step is again, you're gonna want to do your research. Start with organic content. I don't recommend anyone just straight start running ads unless you've got like an emergency or something. Um, again, just building up to those ads. If you need any help too, I mean, you're in our thing next, so we can chat about it.
okay, all right,
All
sounds
right,
good. Thanks. Alrighty.
all right. Any other
Okay,
questions
talk to you
before
soon.
we wrap up, guys? Okay, we'll talk to you next week.